Hi guys, Aviation JFK here, back here with another video. I hope you guys are enjoying these regular videos during the coronavirus pandemic. I have nothing better to do, so I thought I may as well make videos. So yeah, today is going to be another kind of how-to video, and I'm going to be showing some of the basics of how to keep your model airport around for a long time and how to maintain it, and some key things that you might want to keep in mind before you start building your airport. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So one of the first things I really want to stress is that the best material for a model airport is MDF, and that is what you see here. It's like this compacted, I don't know if you can see that, like straight in the light you can see like this rough patch here. So you can see that it's made of like multiple different wooden fibers, and that makes the wood a very smooth wood, and it allows for not really any texture unless you really look for it. And I think this rough texture anyway gives it like a really real look. But yeah, that MDF has its one main strength, and that it looks good, but then it has a lot of weaknesses as well. Literally, MDF is a material that is like a sponge almost, or it is a sponge. It is very, very prone to sucking up moisture, and then expanding or warping. So maintaining your pieces of MDF are very important, and I use several different ways. And one thing that you might want to keep in mind, or one thing that is very important before you start painting big layers onto your MDF, is that you want to seal it. So the grey that you see here isn't actually, it is grey paint, but it's a primer, which basically means it's like a type of paint you put on before you put your actual color on. But this color actually worked out perfect for me, this grey. And what the primer does is it seals the MDF. Not fully, but it seals it a lot, which means it can suck up a lot less moisture, which also means it's a lot less prone to warping, which is something you really want to avoid. I don't know if you can see here, but parts of my airport are already starting to warp over there. And these, as I'll show you in a minute, these pieces of wood are supported pretty much all the way through. So yeah, I'm gonna bring you around over here so I can show you how I really do keep my model airport looking flat. So I'm gonna lift this panel up, and then you'll see there's a piece of wood in here. So this is the MDF, this color that you see. This is what it looks like when you buy it. And then I have a piece of wood. Since my airport is on a pool table, there's like a big dip, and it rests on the outside edges, which means if I was to leave it without a piece of wood under every piece of wood, it would, or every piece of MDF, it would dip down eventually, and then yeah, it just wouldn't look good, and I would have a big puddle, you could say. But yeah, this is the main, and I had these spare pieces of 2x4 lying around, which you can get at your local DIY store, and they actually happen to line up perfectly to the height of the rim of the pool table, which makes it perfect for resting my boards on. And I've made my airport so that I can take it down very easily. And most of the weeks that you see an airport update is me after I've put up the airport. And it takes me about 5 minutes to put up my airport, because I can just take these boards, or take all the terminals and everything off, and then I'm just left with the boards. and then I store the boards in a corner of my room, where they're very much out the way, and then people can play pool. So yeah, this really helped me this is really gonna help me in the long run, making this airport portable, because I'm eventually gonna build another airport, one of the other New York airports, maybe Newark or LaGuardia. I'm not quite sure yet. And then I would have it in the same 3-board format, but then I could like substitute the airports in and out, if that makes sense, instead of having like 3 separate locations for my airports. So yeah, and also to avoid, I know a lot of people like think, oh yeah, you could probably just do it with a Sharpie, like draw these lines, but that is not the case. People who've been watching how to build model airport tutorials will know that you have to do it with paint pens, but a novice would think that you could do it with a Sharpie. Now, some Sharpie colors do work, but I swerve away from them all, because paint just makes it, like, if you put paint on paint, then it is just like way more durable. And yeah, coming back onto the primer side of things, you want to have enough primer to seal it, because if I was to just paint this like color onto the board straight away, it would just soak it up instantly, and I would have to paint it. I have to use a lot more paint than I did here. And this isn't a lot of, like, my MDF boards already soaked up a lot of this paint while I was spraying on it with my airbrush. So yeah, I hope this was some sort of help to you, just to like point you in the direction of like getting the best out of your model airport, because I just think this is an airport that I would always want to have around, because it was my first model airport and I wouldn't want to get rid of it. And for my first model airport, I think this is a pretty decent one. There are areas where I could improve. Like, for example, I didn't sand down things properly. So like here, it looks really dirty and it just like doesn't look that nice. It looks better off camera than it does on camera. And also some of these lines are like a little bit thicker than I would have wanted. It's not as evident on the big gates, but like when you come over to the regional side of things, you can see that this line is like pretty much the thickness of the engine of the 717, which is just like, you know, yeah. So yeah, you just like you want to be careful and you really want to take your time. It's the same with, like, in my previous video I showed like that I made these out of card, and a lot of people have been asking how I make them so good. Well, I just follow the instructions and take my time. That's why I've only got 4 on the airport. I have enough card and things. I've printed them all out in stacks, but they just take a long time to make. And I don't think at the moment I need to build all of them for now. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Please drop a comment, let me know what you thought. And I also do need some more video ideas, so if you could drop some of those in the comments as well, that would be highly appreciated. And as I said, I hope you're enjoying these regular uploads during this coronavirus pandemic. I'm just trying to keep myself company and not boring myself to death. But yeah, already a lot of people, one of my most recent videos on DIY model airport accessories, a lot of people showed a lot of interest in the 3D printing video. So I'm gonna see if I can try and make that this week or next week, and then I'll do an in-depth walkthrough for if people do have a 3D printer. I'll do an in-depth walkthrough on how to get the best files and setting up your 3D printer for for the best for this kind of printing. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Please consider subscribing. We are growing pretty well right now. We're at 154 subscribers, which is great. And as my goal is to reach 200 by the end of the month. So please contribute to that. I know over 50% of the people who watch my airport updates are not subscribed. So if you could subscribe, that'd be great. So yeah, it's been Aviation JFK, signing off.